Looking at the Markets with David Moadel. Hello and welcome to Looking at the Markets with David Moadel. I am so lucky that I get to speak with the experts in gold and in resources around the world. Today, we're all the way in Canada, and we're speaking with Dr. Quinton Henney, Director at Newfound Gold. And you're going to want to check this out. It's at newfoundgold.ca. I'll put it on the screen. But I am so excited about what's coming with gold and resources and miners generally. And I want to talk to you about it and maybe mention an opportunity in a stock that I'm super excited about. Dr. Henney, welcome to Looking at the Markets, sir.
Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to speak with you. You've been in the resource sector for quite a while, and you're right in the thick of it, and you have your ear to the ground as far as what's going on in gold, in mining. We all know that the Fed has given the green light to let inflation run hot. What do you think is going to happen with the gold price? I don't expect any specific price targets for gold, but where do you think we're headed?
Well, David, let's see. Like the crystal ball is a bit foggy, but I think it's clearing very quickly. I think everybody can see that we're heading to a unique situation on the planet with. I'm not even going to call this quantitative easing. It's not. This is extraordinary. The measures that governments are going to ensure economies stay upright right now is kind of jaw-dropping. So I'm going to say that I've talked about this before. It's an emotional inflation. This sounds weird, but this is what it is. You know, when you start to see everyday people realize that what is being done right now is unsustainable, it causes a bit of fear in folks. You know, how do you run deficits like we are? How do you print money like we are? How do you do this on a sustainable basis? A lot of people are asking those questions right now, and unfortunately, it leads to nowhere good. I'd like to say that we're headed to an inflationary period where things like precious metal will benefit dramatically, and I think we are, but I don't think it's going to be quite as simple as a lot of people make out. I think there are some deflationary forces at work for the interim. We've obviously got a strong economic headwind on many fronts in the economy, and that leads to a deflationary pressure. But I think that will be overcome at some point by this absolute flood of money that's being brought, and that's going to lead to a sustained increase in prices. And as people start to panic, you'll start to see it manifest itself in different ways. Let me give you an example. Back in March, when here in the United States, when COVID hit, what's the first thing people did? Well, they went out and grabbed as much toilet paper as they could. I mean, it's just astonishing what happens to when people start acting on their brainstem. I think the same thing's going to happen, but at a different level here soon. In fact, I think we already see it. People are running. They don't want to keep their money in the bank. They don't want to keep their money. They don't want to, use traditional investment practices that have been, around for many decades now. They are literally going out and scooping up anything they can grab. In other words, they're putting it into the hard, tangible assets, or I shouldn't say necessarily hard in some cases, but assets where, they've got that hoarding mentality going. So, why is the bubble in tech happened here recently? Well, it's because there's a lot of money available and people are truly panicky. They're looking around. What's the best industry? Well, tech is. Let's all jump in there. It's like the lemming phenomenon or something. Tech is basically the toilet paper investment of this cycle. I hate to say, there's a lot of good tech companies, but the way people are approaching it is just completely irrational. I think you're seeing it to a degree in housing as well. You look here in the United States, and there's actually a shortage of houses in many places. People are moving around. There's a lot of people leaving cities, New York and the West Coast and so forth, and trying to find a new home in suburban areas in the Midwest and stuff. It's causing a severe shortage of houses. Once again, that mentality, oh, we must have, is driving prices upwards. And it's astonishing. You'd think, my gosh, in the middle of a severe recession, house prices should be going down. They're not. They're going up. In fact, in places, they're going up dramatically. This is bizarre. Okay, so again, emotional inflation. That sounds wacky, but that's what it is. When people start operating on their brainstem, by the whatever stimulus their brainstem gives them that day, then you see a lot of wonky things happen. It will come to gold as well. Look, I don't want to see gold go up to $3,000 an ounce overnight. That would be not so good. A nice sustained price increase in precious metals, where mining companies can see a sustainable, healthy margin, in mining this product. I think that would be a welcome relief to the sector. And quite frankly, I'd be happy if gold hit 2,200 late this year, and then if it hit 2,500, a year after that, and 3,000 a year after that. In other words, a nice steady increase. Again, healthy margin, increase in margins for gold mining companies, and really see that capital come in that we need.
Yeah. I like those price targets as well. If gold, let's say, gets to 2,200 this year, that will have a huge influence on the mining sector and mining stocks, such as Newfound Gold. If people are interested in the stock, make sure you research it. Research before you buy anything, folks. But on the TSX Venture Exchange, it is ticker symbol NFG. On the OTC market, it is NFGFF, and newfoundgold.ca is the website you want to check out. Now, Dr. Henne, you've been involved in several major successes in the mining industry. What is the most important feature of success as an investor in this sector, in your opinion?
When you say feature, I guess what you're getting at is probably what do you look for to measure success.
Yeah.
Look, this company, Newfound, is in an early stage. Okay, let's be real clear here. They drilled 10 holes late last year, had a stellar result. They had 19 meters of 93 grams in a hole in the Keat zone, which was phenomenal. I mean, you don't see drill hole, many geologists don't see a drill hole like that in their lifetime. Okay, so fantastic results. They have started a 100,000 meter program a couple of months ago, and they're aggressively drilling right now, but results are slow to come. Assay labs are backed up and so forth. They have put out very good numbers recently. They had, I think, 4.7 meters of 42 grams, and then 5 meters in a bit of 25 grams in a new hole, 2 kilometers away from that previous hole I talked about. So, they're fantastic results to date. What are we looking at? It's still an early stage story. Okay, it's going to take a lot of drilling. They have a 100,000 meter program slated right now. But what I look for are the early results. Okay, oftentimes with gold discoveries in particular, you can look at certain aspects of the data that's coming in and start to gauge what this might turn out to be. And I'll give you an example. When you take the grade and the thickness and you multiply those, so in the case of that first hole, 19 meters times 93 grams, do that math. Or in this most recent hole with the 2 intervals, 4.7 times 42, and then add 5 meters and change times 25. I mean, you're looking at what we call grade thickness intervals, okay? And those grade thickness intervals give you a pretty good indication of where a deposit might head, where a discovery might head. And when you start to see numbers in the hundreds and even thousands of gram meters, that's usually a very good sign. It means the system could be very big, and the discovery could be a multi-million ounce system. So that's what I look for in early discoveries. I look at what the company has announced. I do a grade thickness on it. I think in context of other world-class discoveries that have been made over time, does this fit the mold? Some don't, some do. More often than not, they don't, obviously. But when they do, boy, do they ever. And Newfound is one of them.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, from what I understand, Newfound Gold has some huge backers. Eric Sprott, Rob McEwen. I mean, this is like Warren Buffett, getting into gold. Well, so are these other big names. Novo Resources. Tell me about some of the backers and some of the support that Newfound Gold has received.
Certainly. Look, Eric, has been a long time investor in the gold space or precious metal space in mining for decades now. And look, Eric invested in Newfound while it was a private company. This was last year, prior to the drilling of these high-grade holes. He called it right. Eric he kind of operates by instinct, and he called it right in this case. And he's going to see a massive return from this. Really already has. Rob McEwen also identifies stuff early on. Rob's got a good nose for identifying good high-grade projects. So, that's what attracted those two to this. Novo Resources. Look, I'm chairman of Novo. That's my company. And why did I take a big stake, or why did we take a big stake? I can tell you, as soon as I saw that core and the similarities to the Fosterville deposit in Australia, I was convinced. I decided that Newfound is onto what could be a discovery of, a generation or something. Like, this is not small stuff here. This is a big discovery. And the opportunity, this is pre-IPO, the opportunity came about for Novo to acquire a 15 million share stake in Newfound. Absolute delighted with our investment. It's performed great to date. I see this as exposure to what could be one of the biggest discoveries in the past few decades.
Yeah, absolutely. Huge backers, including yourself. You have a stake yourself, and I like it when people have some skin in the game, so to speak. That makes me feel more confident before I investigate investing in anything. So since the IPO recently, shares are up. They've doubled, actually, 100% already. Can you tell us about the company going forward, the plans, the shareholder base, and just generally the potential for Newfound Gold?
Yeah, look, it's really going to be driven by what's found by the drill bit. This story is going to unfold over the next few months and years. It's a big system. They have 110 kilometers of strike along the Appleton Fault, this corridor of high grade prospectivity. They've found high grade now in two areas that are 2 kilometers apart: Keat Zone and the Lotto Zone. And this is just in the north area. They haven't even begun really to explore the southern part of their property position. What does this mean? Look, I am a big shareholder. All discovery requires a bit of patience, okay? But I think people will be greatly rewarded over time. I think, a lot of people say, oh my gosh, they've already doubled since IPO. They must be getting toppy, like maybe this is a peak or something. No way. This is a beginning. Yeah. So in this case, they've just started an aggressive drill program. Again, to reiterate, I love to see companies that drill. These guys are committed to drilling. They have an aggressive program going right now, and I think that will unlock value over the next few months and few years.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as I know, Newfound Gold is the largest landholder in Newfoundland in this space, with over 1,500 square kilometers of prospective land. I mean, this is huge. So if you could tell me a little bit about just a brief overview of a couple of projects, the Queensway project and the Lucky Strike project. What are the specs of these two projects?
Look, the Queensway, to put it in perspective, you're looking at a structural zone. Okay, it trends north-northeast. It's along a series of very deep-rooted structures that go down into the crust and tap the fluids that generated the deposits. Okay, so what do we see at surface? At Queensway, we see high-grade gold occurrences. Some of them not even really drilled or tested by other means yet. Okay, so you have the two discoveries that have been made through the drill bit at Keats and Lotto, but we have numerous other showings that indicate we have further high grade across the property. The thing that's really interesting about the geology here is that the erosional level of this system is just perfect. In other words, in the profile of the gold deposit, as you go down into the ground, in these type of systems, you get into a very, very high grade regime within them. And what Mother Nature has done is it's eroded the surface down to the very tippy top of that high grade regime. So you basically have right at very close to surface these exceptionally high grades in this system. And they're showing up all over the property. We have till samples that are yielding very coarse grain gold. We have rock floats, which are pieces of rock that have broken off, very high grade, visible gold in rock pieces. Look, this thing is just beginning. The structural system underneath the property has just barely been scratched. I mean, you look at the Appleton Fault, 110 kilometers of strike. That's a long way. Okay, that would take you a bit over an hour to drive from one end of the property to the other. Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it really is the beginning. As far as Lucky Strike goes, look, I'm mostly up to speed with Queensway, so I can't speak much besides that. But I would say the company's future is probably going to be dictated by the discovery of Queensway.
Yeah. Huge land assets here and mineral rich potentially. I'm bullish on gold and even more bullish on select miners, including Newfound Gold. Once again, on the TSXV exchange, NFG is the ticker. On the OTC exchange, NFGFF. Check out newfoundgold.ca. I am so lucky that I get to speak with the greatest minds in gold and in resources. So Dr. Quinton Henney, Director at Newfound Gold, thank you so much for coming on Looking at the Markets. We'll have to have you back when gold hits your price targets and my price targets, which might be even a little bit higher. So thanks a lot for coming on. I appreciate it today, sir.
Thank you, David.